Come on, come on.
World now on High TV.
So fine, girl, you drive me wild. Who daily check a cherry for me, give me full. Come on, baby, let us ride. The way you shake it, you do it, do me. You want it, the way you give it to me. Shake it, do it, do me. You want it, the way you give it to me. The way you shake it. You do it, do me. You want it, the way you give it to me. Shake it, do it, do me. You want it, the way you give it to me. To the back, to the back, to the front, to the front, to the back, to the back, to the front, to the front, to my people on the side. Let's go, to my people on the side. Let's go, yes, let's go. Shake it.
Hello, this is still Biscom World TV. We're broadcasting live from Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Well, we'll have a special guest in the studio, and it's somebody whose growth I had, studied very closely. And I'm happy to say that he's really done very well for himself. Chief of the old block. I'm sure you and I still remember the great man who would remain in our minds forever, the great Art Alade, one of the great products that is making him very proud now. And as I said a couple of times before, and I want to also repeat it, he's actually shot far ahead of his father's stride. And well, that's a prayer of every parent anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, when he came on the scene, we didn't quite, give him a chance to get this far, because we've always known him as a broadcaster. But he veered into music and made a huge success of it. And I dare say, Dari is everybody's favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, Dari Alade.
It's an honor and pleasure always to rub shoulders with you, to sit side by side with you and to learn from you. You also remain one of the very best that we have and that we've had, and I'm honored.
Thank you very much, Dari Alade. And those who are progenitors in this business will tell us. They say that the young has grown.
It used to be the young shall grow.
Young has grown right before our eyes.
We've grown now, yeah.
Now, let's track it from the beginning. I mean, even if you have to repeat it for the upteenth time. Let's go back in it.
Well, the very beginning, I guess I come from a long line of musicians and creative people. My father, the late Art Alade, obviously a jazz musician, great pianist, TV personality. I remember he used to work with NTV before it became NTA, the former NBC days. And coming from that line, his mother was a piano teacher, a great pianist at that. The first female piano teacher, I think, in West Africa. Something bogus like that, I think. And of course, my late uncle, Captain Wally Buckner, who was the director of music at the Nigerian Navy. I'm the late Richard Buckner, organist, choir conductor of the great Cathedral Church of Christ. So I come from a whole line of those people, some of them not even family. I've passed through the great Professor Laze Kweme, the great Duroni, the late Bode Osoyin. So cutting across music, theater, and other forms of music. The great Don Baba as well. I've been through, and I've met several times. So coming from that sort of background to where I am today, passing through the university, passing through CMS Grammar School, learning music and studying music in Unilag, to writing my own songs, working on the radio, working on television, and eventually releasing albums. That brings me to today.
Very great progression, I must say.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at the broadcasting side of you. Does it have to do with your father's stint in it?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of my father and my mother. You know, my mother was
one of my teachers, by the way. I forgot to say that. Well, his mother taught the likes of me, Sonny Rabo, Mani Onumonu, John Mom of Channels TV how to pronounce what they call the language laboratory in the pharmacy and universities. You just have to go there. No matter how good you think you are in
phonetics,
English, they must wash you.
I wish I had that, and I guess I had that from my mom at home, and we would sit down and watch, the likes of you and some of the names that you've mentioned, Cyril Stober, and the rest of them, who I saw, a couple of years ago and still said the same, reiterated the same thing that you've just said. And apparently my mother and father met in a choir, I think NBC choir, back in the day, where it wasn't enough just to be a broadcaster. You also had to be a singer or something like that. So music comes from both sides, and broadcasting comes from both sides, and I think subconsciously, in a way, they've prepared me for who I am today, without really thinking about it. So right. Definitely.
I want to say that that's a very, very interesting story.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you're enjoying the best of two worlds.
Yes, I am.
Broadcasting, and what broadcasting has done to your music is refining.
It is.
It has brought professionalism to it.
It has.
Which a couple of, the ones who are here around this just don't have. I think that's
an added advantage
that you have, and you're using put it into regular advantage. Now, what would you call your very first time on stage, and describe how it felt?
My first time on stage would be my early experiences at the Muson, from where I studied music as well as performing. I went through the Muson School of Music, and I did some graded exams, which you can compare with the Royal School of Music in England. So my earliest experience on stage would be performing technical classical pieces, things from Handel, maybe a bit of Haydn or Mozart, and performing to, you'd call them matured minds because it's classical music, but performing to a wide variety of an audience, recitatives, recitals, choral performances, and then I delved into jazz. So I had a lot of experience performing at Jazzville. Of course, we know Muyo Amaja Kodumi. And so from there, those are my early experiences with music before I started writing my own pop songs, so to speak, or R&B songs that you have today.
Now, I noticed that there's been a lot. I mean, you have changed, you deviated now, you have delved, veered into something completely different. Maybe because of the commercial value that you derive from it. Yes. Now you're Nigeria's king of R&B. Now, how did that metamorphosis?
That, I don't know where that phrase, I don't know where that title came from. But when I started when my first album, From Me to You, was released in 2006, but I actually started writing and producing my own music from about 2003, 2004, just before I went for Project Fame in South Africa. And to talk about the music, and I was doing a wide variety of genres. I had a bit of hip-hop, a bit of Fuji in my music, a bit of R&B and whatnot. But coming from that introduction to the market, I've had to solidify my genre and carve out my own niche, which I call soul R&B, with a little Naija touch, in there. So to make it very easy for anyone out there to say,
to be able to make it connect.
Exactly, so everybody's got a market. We've got a great Afro pop market where the likes of Two-Face, you know, my brothers P Square and D'banj and the rest of them fall under. So we all have a different clientele, you know, so to speak. So that's my. I'm now predominantly soul R&B.
Now, I mean, it's so nice to talk about Dare, you know, describing you as an international act. What would be your first experience on the international stage?
On the international
what was
stage,
this? What kind of a feeling was this?
I think on the international stage, it actually has started from here, because from the influx of, I mean, back in the day we had the Kool and the Gangs and Dizzy Gillespie and such greats coming into Nigeria, but for a long time there was a lull. You know, no activity, all the labels disappeared, the EMIs, the Sonys, you know, piracy attacked, you know, took over the entire place. It's still on. Nigeria was, if not, I don't know if we still are, we're the biggest consumer of reggae music in the entire world at a particular point in time, probably in the 80s or early 90s. But that has changed, and from the early 2000s, you know, a lot of artists they began to come back. Usher was around, Sean Paul, you know, name it, Anita Baker. A lot of people have come through over the years, and that's where my experience on the international stage started from. You know, I remember opening for Jay-Z and Beyonce and Snoop Dogg and Busta Rhymes, some of the biggest names in contemporary music, right here in Lagos, you know, at the Polo grounds, courtesy of the publisher, of course, Prince Nduka Ubaigwena. A big shout out to him. And from there, I had the singular opportunity of being the only act to open for the great R. Kelly in Cape Town, in South Africa. So I think that's one of my big international breaks.
That's what I was going to. What kind of feeling was it? And how will you receive our Africans away from our own shores?
I took a bit of our culture as well, apart from the R&B that I do. A song like Style Na Style, which I did with Nice. And most recently I have a remix including Jesse Jaggs on that song. I took my talking drummers, you know, and even though they didn't understand what we were saying in the song, but the energy, the African vibe that we took, the dance that we took, the music, the groove was, you're right, it was moving everyone. And right after that, the crowd was so hyped up, they were ready for R. Kelly. So it was a great time.
Fantastic. Now, I noticed that these days we have a Y at the end of the E.
The E, yeah. It's Dare. For a couple of reasons. The main reason being that the brand has gone, you know, very far international now, and I've always had a problem with people calling me, you know, especially South Africans or people that are not of African heritage in Europe and the US, calling me Dare or calling me Dari, and it gets very, you know, the easiest way at that point was to put a Y, which makes it a bit closer. It's not quite what it should be. It's Dari, you know, but the Y kind of helps to get it closer to Dari, which is Dare. And it's also, on the other hand, the Y is very conscious to raise awareness on where we stand as a people. Why don't we have constant electricity? Why don't we have good education? Why don't we improve the lot of our citizens? Why don't we have better governance? Why don't we, you know, there's so many questions that we all want to ask. Why? You know, so when you see the Y at the end of it, it represents that in a way.
Symbolic, you know, question. Yes, okay, that's no problem. I mean, if you look at the screen now, what is scrolling there is we're looking at the entertainment scene with emphasis on the music scene.
Yes.
How would you score Nigeria's entertainment scene?
A simple analogy would be, we're in 2011. In 2003, from what I remember very well, from working on the radio and also, you know, being quite a club hopper, is that Nigerian music was probably played 10% of the time. We had a big foreign, you know, catalog, you know, playing at that time. So let's say 7 or 8 years down the line, you can play Nigerian music at any party, any gathering, for well up to 4 or 5 hours without repeating one song. So if we were to give it a scorecard percentage, I would say we're doing well above 70, 75% at the moment, you know, and it's only getting better. So we're definitely on the upward climb. The quality is improving, the songwriting, the production quality, and the marketability, you know, has gone way beyond anybody's expectations. So the sky really is the limit.
But I have a problem, and I think I'll be echoing the minds of so many people. If I talked about the lyrics that we get to have, and most of them are not ear-friendly, they offend the sensibilities. But on the other hand, people say that's what tickles people's fancy.
It's a combination. That's a very important observation that you have made. And the people, you know, which is you and I and everybody who's listening and watching right now, is that we're tired of listening to the same thing over and over again. Yes, some of this music helps us forget about the worries of day-to-day living, having to buy petrol for the generator or diesel, you know, which everybody faces as long as you're a Nigerian, until we have constant electricity. But that said, we also have a big number of people who are emerging, who are thinkers, movers and shakers, who are well educated, not just at home and also abroad, in the diaspora, who want the music to be reflective of social comments, wants you to be reflective of taking you away to a nicer place, you know, subconsciously, musically, paint a picture.
Help to build, you know, society.
Exactly, you know, music that can help you study, that can educate you, you know. So, for example, I can speak for myself. I've never had curse words in my music. You know, I don't use obscenities. I make sure that my music is friendly to not just the kids, but also to the adults. And I make music that can relax you, that's easy to sing along to, and music that paints different pictures and scenarios. Even if it's not personal experiences that I've had, you know, I'm able to write songs that can represent, you know, experiences that other people have had.
Now let's look at the evolution of your journey in music. How long has this taken you formally, and how many albums will we count in your favor?
Well, as we speak, I've just released my latest efforts, as we would say in Nigeria. It's called Double Dare, and it's actually my third and fourth albums, respectively. So I have 4 albums out. I started my recording career from about 2004 to now, so I could say technically 7 years. But I have been performing and making a living from music from as far back as 1996 or 1997. So it's a
all right.
thereabouts.
We'll just you're still watching Dari at Alade live in our studios, Anthony Village, Southwest Nigeria. And by the way, this event is being seen live all over the country and parts of
the world.
And it's a very special feeling to have Dari right here with us. You're going to be able to talk to him on the phone, and whatever questions must have been agitating your minds about him or his music, you're free to tell us. But we're going to take a quick music break and have a little bit of a bite of the new one he's just released. Let's see what it's like. But you know, it's a typical vintage Dari. You're still watching Biscuit World live from Lagos.
How you style your hair, worry about all the clothes you wear, worry about what the people care, you worry about everything, worry about the kind of car you drive, worry about living that fancy life, you worry about all the things to buy to make you beautiful. All these things don't matter. Ego make me love you more, girl. You need to learn to love who you are. Baby, you're a star. As for me, yeah, I like the way you are. I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are.
about your attitude and all these crazy things you do, thinking you're no good for you, but you are good for me. Too big, too short, too slim, too tall, baby, you cannot have it all. I wish that you would come to your senses. All these things don't matter. Ego make me love you more. Girl, you need to. I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are. I like the way you
nominees are...
Nominees, best film in a music video are... More.
Can you shake your body more?
Micah. Benita will African Jew.
Shake my body more.
For Darry. Good evening, Lagos. Some noise, Nigeria. Yeah. They call to Terry, everybody from Prince, music scene.
Two quick things happening there to Dari at Alade. First, you heard his latest offering, which he calls The Way You Are. And just now he picked the award for the best use of costume at the Nigerian Music Video Awards 2009. Now, let's talk about the music that we just heard. What's the concept behind it?
Well, first of all, to bridge the gap between some sensible lyrics and some contemporary music, because it's hard to strike the balance. So musically, it's very heavy, very hip hop. It's easy for any young person to gravitate towards the music, but the music has a strong message, that says, "I like the way you are." basically from a man's perspective, talking to a woman, you know, that you don't have to wear the flashiest clothes, you don't have to buy the most expensive things, you don't have to wear a weave, you know, or a wig. You can actually just have your hair nice and dreadlocked or plaited, you know, and a man should still be able to appreciate a woman, you know, based on her natural beauty, which is really inside. So it's really talking about self-esteem, you know, which we have many cases of. There's a big dearth of self-esteem amongst not just the ladies, but even the kids in schools, even the men and things like that. So it's a social conscious song that's very contemporary, very popular, and can pass easily as a club song. But if you listen closely, it has a strong message.
Well, we're talking about, I mean, we're looking at the importance of lyrics in the composition of songs. And we should also look at another area that's very integral when you're talking about the total packaging of any song, especially on television, the video thing.
The music videos.
Music videos. I mean, the production and where you shoot them. And are you one of those who think it has to be done abroad?
Well, I'm one of those people that does them abroad, but I'm also one of those people that have been instrumental in helping us reach where we are, even locally. I remember my earlier videos, which some people would remember Escalade or Young Man or Fuji and Original Niger. All those music videos were shot between here and Abuja, you know, and for some of the biggest directors that we have now, which would include Clarence Peters, DJ T, and a few of them I've worked with, you know, for many years. So we've, you know, this is when the music video revolution pretty much started, which was in 2004, 2006, you know. But now, because we're more international, we embrace a variety of locations around the world, you know, not because, not for fun. You know, it's really about making it more exotic. It's nice to see other parts of the world in the videos by yours truly, who you see around town and you know is your local, you know, one of yours. And you see him either in Jamaica or New York or London or Cape Town or Johannesburg to shoot music videos. But we also always integrate our local elements in there, you know, from time to time where we can. For example, for this new album, Double Dare, a few of the videos will be shot somewhere in the middle of...
The videos are not out yet.
We're shooting, we're in the process of shooting many more at the moment. Don't be surprised to see the middle of Lagos, some Okesuno or you know, some other parts of inside Lagos.
Now let's talk about the various tracks that you have in it.
Yes.
Let's go.
Well, it's a double album. One side is titled Heart, and the other side is titled Beat. On the Heart side of the album, I have...
You decided to separate
two albums, Heartbeats, and if you put them together, you have Heartbeats. And that's what actually makes the Double Dare album take. So on one side is very, if I may say, a side that you and many people like you would enjoy because of its classic nature. It's rich in organic music, live drums, live bass, live piano, very mellow.
Afrocentric nature.
It has, yes. Also because it includes a cover version, an official cover, because I had to go, you know, all the way to Onitsha to get permission from the Mbaga family. I did a cover of Prince Nico Mbaga's African anthem that sold at least 6 million copies in its heyday, which makes it the biggest selling single of all time from out of Africa. Proudly Nigerian. The song Sweet Mother is on the Heart side of the album. I also have one of mine, which I wrote and produced with Kobam Zasukwo. It's called Sisieko, you know, which has very playful and lyrics that are reminiscent of the good old days of Sir Bobby Benson and Victor Olaya and Fela Kuti before he started Afrobeat, while he was still playing high life. You know, so it's got that very high life jazz feel, and the entire side has that theme in it. So it's a lot of the songs are mellow, very easygoing, and very reflective of good old music. Then on the other side, which is more energetic for the younger ones like myself, I have songs which, like Provider, which features P Square, you know, award-winning twins, and I think it's safe to say everybody knows who P Square is. I have a song with Timaya on the album. It's called Back to Sender. I also have a song with Mo Cheddar on the album, and that one's called Turn Me On. And one of the special surprises that I have on the album is a Grammy Award-winning rapper who is of Nigerian heritage, yes. His name is Akeem Seriki, but he's popularly known as Chameleonaire. He's on the remix to this song, this video that you've just watched, The Way You Are. So that's some of the exciting songs that are on both albums.
All right, I mean, we talked about the need for us to have very good lyrics. We don't seem to have so many of them these days, so many songs like that. But another thing to look at when you're talking about an album, I mean, well, a video of any song, is the kind of things that go into it. And we see things that are not too friendly, you know, not too friendly to the sensibilities of people these days. Like people flaunting money, obscene
alcohol,
pictures, and the rest of it. What do you think about that? And what do you think we can do to get subsanity?
Well, I think we just need to speak out. You know, use such forums as this and speak our mind. You know, we must remember that the kids are watching. A lot of our stations don't have ability to rate the content, so we must have some kind of check, especially because of the kids. We don't want the children adopting and adapting to things that they watch on TV, which they do, you know, courtesy of new television, MTV, the youth culture, and whatnot. So we've got to, first of all, I think from even our own side as creators, be very mindful of the kind of music that we're making and the image that we're projecting. A lot of us shoot music videos with a lot of ladies, demeaning the ladies in a way, disrespecting the ladies, showing a lot of alcohol or too much emphasis on alcohol and other things that are, you know, vices, you know, to living healthy and staying healthy and projecting a good image. So if we start from there, and if the media does from the other side, representing the people's voice, to come out and say, you know, we must put a stop to this. The kids are learning languages and lingos and slangs that they shouldn't, you know, be adapting at such a young. It's not adding.
Right. What I make of what Dari is saying is actually talking to we who operate media houses, radio, television. Let's try and get our gatekeeping attitudes in place. We seem to be slipping, and we don't seem to be working in tandem with what should be. I mean, best practices. The world is a global village, and the way people see you is the way they perceive you. And we should just try and clear the waves of all the dirt stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that people like him are helping to put us on the right track in terms of the kind of things that we see, the kind of visuals that you put out on your video, and the kinds of lyrics that come along with your songs. Now, I've been talking with Dari all along, and I don't think I want to monopolize this. Dari is everybody's person. He's very much loved around the world. So if you're watching us from any part of Nigeria and you'd like to take part in this live forum, you can call us. The number is 01740 4066. We'll just take calls. I might not be able to react to your text messages. Let's just take live calls. And Dari Alade is still here. Now, Dari, tell me what your opinion is on the hydra-headed problem of piracy that has eaten into the fabric of our music. It's like the more you drive them, the more they come.
It's fast becoming a way of life, which is very worrying. People pirate and sell pirated goods without a care. They sell it so confidently. They've been empowered because there's been no enforcement of anti-piracy laws and such initiatives. It's a big worry. It will take probably longer because it's been left for so long unattended to. Obviously because we have bigger problems. We have problems of water, clean water to drink. We have problems of food, job security. We have problems of good roads, infrastructure, and education. We have problems of good governance. So I think piracy is at the bottom end of the problems that we have. That said, You know, it cuts across not just music, it affects people who write, people who are creative in any way. Intellectual property cuts across many genres, so to speak, of the art form. Now, how do we tackle it? I think there's been many different suggestions from left, right, and center, but the bottom line is that it can't be done without the strength of the armed forces, which is controlled by the government. You know, we can't take the law into our hands and chase the pirates out of the market. If there's a way that we can convert pirates into genuine marketers and genuine distributors, then they have to have a stake in the pie. The government has to have a stake in the pie. If, for example, every CD or every book sold, just as Lagos State is obviously enforcing a strong tax regime, which a lot of people are complaining about, but in essence, if you're not being taxed multiply for the same thing, then it's not, it's not out of place. A good government must tax the people. So if the government, here we go, someone's got.
Hello.
Okay, we lost.
Okay, no, we'll get.
If the government has a stake in every book sold or every CD sold or every software sold that is proudly Nigerian or made here, then it would make sense to protect what is yours. So if we have a nice sharing formula between the artist, the marketer, the government, and the armed forces somehow, you know, through the government, for every CD sold, then we would be able to rid the market of illegally produced works, which in essence would put money back into the artist's pocket, would help us go back into the studio to make some more music videos, and the cycle would be a healthy cycle that makes sure that you're entertained and you have a say by saying, you know what, I bought your album the last time, you know, I bought an original copy. Why is the quality of your music on the decline? I want to see you, you know, getting better and going higher. So everybody is involved.
That's exactly how the number one citizen of Lagos State, Mr. Babatuni Fashola, has put it. He says, go into partnership with them, and that way things will get better. I want to believe that this postulation is not lost on the pirates themselves, but the problem is, who's going to be bold enough to come and
to bell the cat?
I'm a pirate, come, let's sign.
Well, we've had most recently, we've had one of the, in quote, biggest pirates. I think he's still in police custody. I'm not quite sure how his court case is going. He's been charged for abusing the works of people, and it's a good sign, you know, to say that, you know, some people who do some of these things must face the law for breaking the law. It's not fair to take people's sweat, even though some of us also are to blame. We make some of our work, and we have no pride of place, no pride in what we've done, and we go and sell it for next to nothing, you know, and that doesn't give anybody else a good platform to go to the same source and say, you know what, I've spent more than the other person spent. Give me what's due for my work. So it's a multiple pronged problem that is caused not just by the pirates, but even from the artists as well. Right. And we must find a solution to it. Okay,
we're all trying to build our country together, and we're at a very critical stage. The 2011 elections just a month
around the corner. We're already in March.
Yes, already in March. How do you think that the entertainment industry can partner with the government to make Nigeria a better place?
I think it's actually probably the only thing at the moment that is most unifying next to soccer, next to football in the country at the moment. 70% at least of the Nigerian population is made up of young people. And of those young people, they spend most of their time listening to Nigerian music as we speak. And over the years, from the influx, the advent of mobile telecommunications, a lot of the corporates have used music and still use music as the #1 driving force for all their marketing campaigns. There's no commercial you will hear on the radio or television that will not contain a certain sense of music, any element of music,
Nigerian,
and especially
Oriental.
Nigerian music. And that cuts across to every part of life at the moment. There's no brand, including politicians or including government, that will not need music to drive their message across. So this is not the only time that you should use musicians to convince people to vote for you. You should also use musicians to educate the people, not just about the Ministry of Education. Music is even faster to preach the gospel of good language or culture or whatever it is you want to pass across to the people, to sensitize them. It's time for us to have a rethink about who we are as Nigerians, to go into the future, positively and believe in ourselves and say, look, we know that our future is brighter and must be better than where we are now. And there's no better platform to use than music.
Now, I mean, Dare Alade, honestly speaking, and I'm very happy about that, has about one of the fastest growing fan base and all over the world. The Twitter, the Facebook and other social networking formats are buzzing as we speak. What kind of things do you get them request you to do?
It's, I'll be honest with you, absolutely ridiculous. It's the rate at which it's been growing has been very phenomenal. I mean, to give you some brief figures of the kind of followership we have on Facebook. My Facebook is facebook.com/Darey, Darey. I already have at least about 250,000 people, who are following what we do every day, what we say, the music we release. On Twitter is at least 25,000 thereabouts. People who are following, just catching on daily, day-to-day activities, where I am, what I'm doing, and it's a great way at the moment to connect to people out there who have been supporting over the years, who don't watch TV all the time, who are always on their cell phones. Nowadays it's always, everybody's on the go. So social media has come to stay, using Twitter and Facebook. And for example, I have a website as well, dareyonline.com, on twitter.com/Darey. It's great ways, innovative ways to stay in touch with people. You can be as far as Malaysia and still be a Nigerian, obviously, or even non-Nigerians who are loving our music. The internet is such a great place now because it's so expensive to send posts, back and forth. It's time consuming, but the world is a global village. Click a button online and you can be closer to America than you even imagine.
I don't know, something was wrong with the line. I mean, this should be the busiest. Anyway, let's just leave that aside and talk about you. Quite a lot of the young ones would like to be like you. You've gotten to this stage, it's not a tea party. You've had to go through quite a lot. You've had to go through a lot in terms of grooming before you got to this stage. What would you be telling the young ones that'd like to be like you, whether as a musician or as a broadcaster or as a
creative person?
Altogether.
Well, I think first of all, it's dependent on, okay.
I hope this gets through. Hello? Hello?
Wow.
All right, as we say.
Well, I think it starts with the talent, the passion for what it is that you want to do. You want to be a great songwriter or an artist, a singer or a rapper or a dancer or a poet or a newscaster or a magazine publisher, editor, whatever it is that you feel you have a talent for. Learn a bit more about it, learn from the likes of Bisi Olatilo. If you want to go into broadcasting, find a way to connect to him and receive some tutelage, underscore, see someone as your icon or your mentor or idol, the proverbial idol, and take positive things from those people. Positive things would be their style of presentation or their style of dressing or whatever it is that you think would help you in your quest.
The attitude to
the work, the attitude to work, the work ethic, the ethos, the person's mindset towards what it is that they're doing. And that's just the beginning. You know, then you have to cut your own teeth. You have to go through the grind, pay your own dues.
Hello?
Wow.
What's the problem?
Same thing happened. And then you cut your teeth and you learn the ropes and pray to God, you know, that heaven will smile favorably, in your regard, in your quest. Make sure you learn as much as you can. It doesn't mean you have to study in school. You know, there's all kinds of informal learning and formal learning that you can receive.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you broke the ice. Hello? How are you?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's speaking? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lagos.
Your name?
From Lagos.
Your name, please.
My name is Kemi.
All right. Daddy Alade is all yours.
Hi, Kemi. How are you?
Hi, Dari.
Hi. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Great.
Yeah, I just want to say you're doing a very good job.
Thank you very much.
We all like you.
Thank you.
The youth love you.
Thank you.
But I have a request, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I hope it's something that I can
When are you
do.
going to do a song in Yoruba?
Wow. Well, that's a great
Because I know
question.
you're Yoruba, so
I'm a Yoruba man. I have that to answer your question very
I'm not trying to
easily.
be tribalistic,
Oh,
so I'm just asking.
not at all. I have a song on my brand new album that is all in Yoruba. It's called Sisieko. So if you're in traffic right now or you want to go out to the stores and grab a copy of Double Dare. You know, as a matter of fact, for calling in, I'm going to give Uncle Bissy a copy for you of the brand new album. Come to BISCON World and pick up your copy of Double Dare.
Oh, thank you.
It has a copy of the Yoruba song that you are looking for, and it's called Sisieko.
Thank you so much.
It's called Sisieko.
Now, Kevin, what do I get for making this matchup?
Oh, Uncle BC, we all love you. You know how much I should jump on the phone and give you a hug now. You're doing a very great job.
Thank you very much, Kevin. God bless.
Love. It's not because of your wife. I want to blow you a kiss.
So congratulations, Kemi. I'm gonna autograph it for you, and I'll leave it here for you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. God bless you too.
Thank you.
It was funny that she said that, you know, talking about a Yoruba song. As a matter of fact, just like you are, you're multilingual. Not only do you speak Yoruba, you speak Igbo and you speak Hausa, which I'm still trying to catch up. But I've used my music to be like you. So I've done a song in Hausa and in Yoruba as well. And of course, Sweet Mother, the cover for Nico Mbaga, covers the East, which is a big market for that song in particular.
Isn't that fantastic?
So I'm trying to go Wazobia as well.
That's the only way to go.
It is, because we are truly Nigerian.
All right, you have to give us an advice here, and that would be with the electorate and the politicians.
Yes.
That coming from somebody who's very well...
April 2011, general elections. I think, sadly, the youth didn't turn out the way that we wanted them to, but it was still a far cry from what was obtainable before. A lot more people came out to register to vote this time around, and we're very happy about that. So I want to congratulate the youth on that move. I, myself, have my own voters card. If you have yours, let us come out en masse and vote out bad leadership. This is the time. You know, I'm non-partisan. You know, I would not come out here and preach that you should vote for one person in particular, you know, but we see the signs. We know who's doing a great job in Lagos at the moment without even mentioning the name. We know who's doing a great job, or who has the potential to do a great job from a federal perspective. So vote the right person into office, and it's time to take the bull by the horns and change our destiny. Let's not sit down at home and be armchair critics and say, this Lagbaja, this person didn't do this, didn't do that. This is the time to use your power, which is your vote, to vote in the right person into office.
I'm not sure we've left any ground uncovered in the last almost 1 hour. We've been having a very serious talk with Dari Alade.
That's because you're professional and and you do this so effortlessly. It makes everything.
Thank you very much. Dari, let me congratulate you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, do you have any things lined up?
Definitely. At the moment, I'm on a media tour promoting the brand new album, Double Dare. I wish I could get a copy right now and show to you guys so you see exactly what it looks like. Yeah. Kemi, I'm gonna autograph your copy and give to Uncle Bissy so it holds for you. We're going to all kinds of radio stations. Your favorite radio station, we're going to be having a party on the radio. It's called the Double Dare Radio Rave. And from there, we're going to take it, obviously, to television, as we have right here. Here we go, okay? If you're in traffic or your favorite store, right now, this is my new album. It's actually 2-in-1. You will have to buy them separately, of course, because they contain, like this red one contains songs like Sisieko and Sweet Mother, and some other songs that are very nostalgic and very classic in production. On this side, we've got more pop songs. Your favorites are there, collaborating with me, P Square, Mo Cheddar, Timaya's on this album. I also have a Grammy Award winner on this album. It's called Beat, and this is called Heart. So if you put them together in this format, you have Heartbeat, okay? And Chameleonaire, the Grammy Award winner, is here as well. So make sure you check it out. Grab your copy as soon as you can. Support Nigerian music so that we can, take it to those heights. So right now we're doing TV, radio, and really just connecting to everyone through the media, internet, and just absorbing all the criticism that we can get. Tell us what you think about the music. If there's something you don't like about it, let us know so we can always make improvements on our next project. So, and I also use the opportunity to really thank everyone, for all the love, the support, and the criticisms of the last few years. It really helps, and it's brought us to. It does.
Gets you, to the very
it does,
top
absolutely.
Of your game.
Absolutely.
Well, what would you be doing in your leisure period?
Wow.
What are the things that tickle Daria Talade's fancy?
Wow. I like to have good meals. I like to eat, nice. My wife is from Ekiti, so I enjoy pounded yam a lot. I also enjoy a lot of other local delicacies. I tried not ishewu. I tried what's the other one called?
Which one is that one now?
They're going hand in hand.
Is it Nkwobi?
Nkwobi, yes. I love Nkwobi, by the way. Okay. That's such a great meal to have. It's very rich in in a lot of things. I love pepper soup, so that takes care of food. I'm also a great sport fan. So I like football. I play a nice number 9 when I get to play, and I'm also a great goalkeeper, if I may say so. I love playing basketball. That one I probably play more than any other sport. I love playing tennis. I love playing pool, snooker, call it what you may. Yes, and I also enjoy driving. Funny enough, I like to drive around, and it keeps me relaxed and keeps my senses very sharpened as well. I like to travel a lot. I like to read. I'm very huge on social networking, so I'm always on the phone or on the laptop, connecting with people, sending emails and whatnot. So the ultimate relaxation, though, is sleeping. I love to sleep whenever I can catch a few hours.
How many hours do you get of that?
If I'm lucky, I get 4 to 5 hours of sound sleep. If I'm lucky.
The business keeps you.
It keeps you. You know about it. You know about jet setting from Lagos to Kuala Lumpur. Tomorrow you're in Asia. Tomorrow you're in America, doing one thing or the other.
That's what makes you what you are.
Many times we've met at the airport. You're going this way, I'm going that way, and that's the way it is.
That's the way to keep the business going.
It is.
It bubbling.
It is the only way.
Let me thank you very much.
Thank you so. I should be thanking you. I should be thanking you for being such a shining light, a shining beacon to all of us. Not only us us broadcasters or musicians, but just a general source of inspiration. Want to pray for you, for long life, good health, and for BizCon International to take it to the moon. Let's broadcast on the moon, shall we?
Starting point.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alade. An interviewer's delight any day, and very, very knowledgeable. And now I see why he's breaking the ground as fast as possible. And I'm sure that this is just the beginning of his, life. He's going to travel even much more than we have now. This is the BizCon World Television. It's a 24-hour channel. There's news in it. There's sports in it. Just name it. Very shortly, we'll be having our sports with, of course, the master, Tony Eke. He says it the way nobody else says it. And because he never minds whose ox is God, he just goes to town and says it in his own very special way that you cannot, how do you put it now? There's a way to put it. Inimitable.
Inimitable.
Thank you, brother.
How you style your hair, worry about all the clothes you wear, worry about what the people care, worry about everything, worry about the kind of car you drive, worry about living that fancy life, worry about all the things to buy to make you beautiful. All these things don't matter. Ego make me love you more. Girl, you need to learn to love who you are. Baby, you're a star.
As for me, I like the way you are. I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are.
Baby girl, I worry about your attitude and all these crazy things you do, thinking you're no good for you, but you are good for me. Too big, too short, too slim, too tall. Baby, you cannot have it all. I wish that you would come to your senses. All these things don't matter. Ego make me love you more. Girl, you need to learn to love who you are. Baby, you're a star.
As for me, I like the way you are. I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you are. This girl, I like the way you
to be like you. So Yoruba as well.